Okay, sorry. On behalf of the entire team at WeGoLook.com, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to present our company. My name is Robin Smith. I'm co-founder and COO of WeGoLook.com. And I don't think Johnny Bench or Mickey Mantle ever saw one of these pitches, but I'd like to think that they would love it if they did. WeGoLook.com is an online platform. We feature over 7,000 nationwide agents who we dispatch on-site locally to the item, property, or a person to verify its existence or validate the seller's, seller's listings. So what we do is we actually provide inspection services, custom tasking. Our lookers provide data capture, video, taking photos. We observe working demonstrations. For example, if you're wanting to purchase an item on eBay, say a pinball machine in Kentucky, but you can't get there yourself, We Go Look will dispatch a local agent there who will go to the pinball machine, make sure that it works, send you a report that has photos and video of it. We also provide custom tasking. We take measurements, we pick up items, deliver them to a shipper. So we really help individual consumers who are trying to purchase items online to avoid fraudulent listings. So before you send a deposit, it's a good idea to send someone out, especially if it's a high-end item like a boat or a car, property, even an online date. We help save a lot of emotional distress, travel expenses, time. 90% of our current client base are commercial clients, and we really help them with the coverage that we have. So our commercial clients are typically banks, financial institutions who are needing to verify assets, such as Quicken Loans would be a great opportunity for them to dispatch a looker to make sure that that item actually exists and it's in good condition prior to providing funding on that. We also help with fleet vehicles. We did some heavy equipment management for Target Distribution Center last weekend. We've expanded our looker database to include Canada, Australia, and the UK now, so we would like to provide looks in many countries. It really helps our lookers. They have supplemental income for their families. The money that comes into Oklahoma is about 99% of it comes from out of state. And there are a lot of different ways we want to help our vertical markets. I'm sorry, I say I'm running out of time. I could talk for so long. And our lookers, we're working on also categorizing them where we have like heavy equipment operators, veterans who are heavy equipment classified operations, different things like that, where we're really specific on matching up our lookers to our customers. So it's been successful so far. We have 13 employees now internally. And my question would only be, what can we go look at for you?
Yeah, we clearly didn't skimp on the timer. I think we actually stole it from an arena nearby.
Could we get a mic on that timer?
Yeah. So I'll ask a question.
Sure.
It's a little bit of a, I guess, finance-heavy question, but what's the average transaction?
Our median transaction is $89.
And how many users do you have that are active users?
Our active customers?
Active customers.
It varies every month. We have, of course, our repeat clientele, our customers, our corporate clients. We're grossing anywhere between $60,000 to $70,000 a month now. Just on, each month we're growing. So we kind of look there because we pick up a new client and they may add 35 in one day. I mean, it really varies right now.
And what's your margin on that growth?
50% or more. It's always at least 50%. We pay our lookers half of the service cost.
So you're making about 30 grand a month?
Net.
Profit. Yeah, net profit.
Well, I would say after we pay our internal cost and our technology and things, no. But ideally, yes.
Okay.
So you mentioned corporate clients. You also have individuals, the consumer clients as well?
Absolutely. We actually started our idea originated for our legal counsel. He wanted to purchase a high-end item on eBay.
Oh, great. That was my next question, actually.
Yeah. And
where did this idea come from?
Yeah, and he said, he said, I really need someone to go look at this projector. And we were like, surely there's a service for that, and there's not. And of course, you can buy an auto inspection, you can buy a motorcycle, but you can't buy one you can't do it all on one platform.
Right.
And so we started doing some research, and we thought that's a great idea. And with all the individual consumers, you start talking about the opportunities with affiliate partners, you start talking about white labeling. I mean, there's data capture. We have information on, you know, who the seller is, who the buyer is, who the looker is, what the item is. I mean, we have all of this data that's important. I'm sorry I ramble, but to answer your question, that's
So what's the breakdown, would you say, between retail, say, versus corporate?
Right now, about 90% is corporate.
Oh, good. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've really found a good niche with corporate. And of course, it's helped us. I'm sorry, I know you were going to say something. But it's helped us because we do get the repeat business every month from them. So once we know that people find out about us, we will have more individuals. I mean, just the opportunity on eBay alone is incredible. And the people who do use us, the individuals, they come back to us, they're repeat customers. But of course, they may only purchase 1 or 2 a month if they're, you know, high-end buyers, whereas your corporate clients are going to place multiple orders per day.
How are you finding your, how are you sourcing the lookers? And also, how are you validating their integrity? So, you know, the guy with the boat doesn't say, oh, here's $500, say it's really in good shape.
Right, that's a great question. When we first started with this idea, of course, it took us some time to create our platform. While we were building our platform, we started recruiting mobile notaries, process servers, field inspectors, because we knew that these type of people were out in the field. They were typically, you know, they had the right kind of tools and technology, and they can easily work or look into their day because they're already, you know, out and about. So we of course scrubbed some websites, and then we sent out, you know, worked with some different forums and recruited those particular people. We also perform background checks on every single one of them. They have to be validated prior to dispatching them. As far as having someone give someone $500 on an item, it would be hard to do. We are the buffer. We do not let our buyer or the seller ever talk. Or the looker. The buyer can't ever talk to the looker either. So by looking at the photos, we have a Q&A process. You know, everything is uploaded and it works. But we can look at that Q&A and see if there's any condition reports that we need to, or alerts that we need to note. We haven't had any problems so far.
Is your cash flow just in time, or do you bill on net 30? How do you bill for this service? And how do you get paid? Do you have any receivable problems?
No, not really. We've got, right now, of course, our individuals place via credit card or PayPal, and that's instantaneous. Of course, we will authorize the payment, and then once the report is sent to them, it's captured. But on corporate clients, it depends on who it is. If it's Cushman & Wakefield, if it's a large JP Morgan Chase, it's people like that, they receive, of course, you know, 30-day net. If it's any other client, they have to go through a process application.
So if you were going to look for an investment, basically you'd be looking at that cash flow to repay that. So then you'd be looking at the receivables. Am I correct? On the contracts primarily, instead of the individual payments with your corporate clients?
Well, you'll have to clarify your question real quick.
I mean, in terms of investing, your cash flow is going to determine the repayment of the investment.
Sure.
So are you going to basically secure that the investment by the contracts with your corporate clients? Because it looks like
sure.
you may have a little more difficult time quantifying the payment for the individuals than you would for someone like a Chase who might enter into a monthly arrangement with you.
Right. Now, of course, you know, if we're performing these large jobs, we're out on the cash flow because we have to pay our agents prior to receiving that check.
Them.
Yes, so we of course are kind of behind. So you have a
lag.
We do have a lag there, but it's made up for each month. So we have not seen a problem with that. We have 3 other companies that are very, very successful. One of them was just awarded the Entrepreneur of the Year by the Oklahoma Department of Labor, the Labor Commissioner for 2012. So we have solid plans. We have about 185 employees total in our building. And we're, like I said, we're self-funded. And I understand what you're saying, but we have not had that problem yet.
So going a quick different direction, if I gave you a check right now for $2 million, how would you step on the gas? How would you scale this business?
We would absolutely work on our technology. We're about to launch our second platform. And of course, we're always tweaking our website. And we have a mobile application in the process for our lookers where we can capture real-time data It's also it also geotags whatever we're working on, and it's dynamic. But we would quickly provide an application for customers. We know that's what we need, and that's like phase 3 right now. We would also incorporate some marketing, because again, I think that once people, especially in the corporate world, just hitting some trade shows would be very beneficial, and a PR firm that could just get some, articles out about our corporate business that we do provide.
So you mentioned, I think the stat you said was that 90% of your business comes from the corporate side?
Yes.
So that strikes me as a huge percentage for a business that seems to be marketing to consumers.
Right.
So that tells me either you've been remarkably successful with corporate or just pretty unsuccessful with consumers.
Well,
but my question is, why choose to brand yourself as a consumer-facing company if you're clearly so much more successful with corporate?
We have talked about that. I am a firm believer that as soon as it takes hold, and we are receiving more and more there's more individuals out there globally.
Right, you mentioned when Josh said he'd give you $2 million to grow this, you mentioned that was the third phase of
absolutely.
But have you considered that maybe consumers just aren't ready for a product like this?
We have, but we also feel like the people that have used us, it's been very beneficial. I mean, we mitigate that risk for any online consumer, especially our overseas customers. They love us. They're repeat guys all the time, especially heavy equipment. That's a whole big industry that's not even cataloged like the auto industry. If I could sit down and talk with you guys, there are so many vertical markets here that you can't even wrap your head around in the few minutes that we have. In just the automotive, heavy equipment, and property sector, the opportunities are huge. But if you take the number of people in the world and you have them start using us as part of an affiliate program, or part of a white label, say if it is a JP Morgan Chase that puts us on their desktop for every single commercial application that comes through, or any kind of residential application that comes through, we're automatically part of that process to be dispatched, part of that order. The opportunities are
Why would
huge.
JP Morgan choose your service and not build their own, or I mean, do you have IP on this idea?
We do,
Okay.
and they don't have their own. Right now, there's a couple of different field services that have that market, and we are slowly gaining ground, taking over those markets in all of those. And I would think that at some point, maybe one of them would want to purchase us. But for now, it's amazing to me when we find out the opportunities that are there. And that's one of the things, we've kind of just stumbled across organically for the corporate clients. And, there's only so many of us. If we had the $2 million, we would hire a business development team other than just myself and really be able to go out and work with these different, potential partners. So, I mean, but the international individual potential is huge. It's just huge.
I think we're out of time, but thank you.
Okay,
very much.
sorry. Thank you.